Hey Moonies, welcome to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. I'm your host, Victoria L. Johnson, and I'm here with Brittany N. Williams. She is a Shakespeare nerd, host of It's a Flop, actor, writer for Black Nerd Problems, and a writer for the upcoming Star Wars anthology, From a Certain Point of View, The Empire Strikes Back. I'm super excited to talk about all things Sailor Moon and all things Star Wars and all things other things with Brittany. Hey Brittany.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I'm so happy to be among my Sailor Moon sistren, brethren, siblings, everything.
Yes. I've been a new word I've kind of come up with that people may see more coming in the future is Senshihood.
Yes. Yes.
Senshihood. Yeah.
my people.
Right? Yeah. So to bring us back, I usually like to ask everyone, like, what's your first memory of watching Sailor Moon?
So my first memory is I remember I woke up randomly at like 5:30, 6 o'clock one morning when I was a kid, and I remember seeing like the opening theme for the old Deke dub, and I was like, what is this? And I remember like being little and being not quite into it, but then when they started running it again on Cartoon Network and Toonami, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is my shit. This is it. I don't need anything else. This is it. And also, Sailor Moon is how I met my best friend in high school.
Love that.
I had a hard time making new friends in high school, and I remember in gym, our first like module was gymnastics. And my friend Kate, she did a whole gymnastics routine to a song from Sailor Moon. And so afterwards I was like, hi, sorry, excuse me. So do you like Sailor Moon too? And she was like, oh my God, I love Sailor Moon. And then that was it. We were best friends from then. So yeah.
Oh my God. That's so awesome. First off, I wish I was there to see that gymnastics routine, because that sounds awesome.
It was good. I was like, wait a minute, that's Sailor Moon. I was like, do they know that this is Sailor Moon? Like, what? Oh, it was so good.
I love that. And you guys are friends even till this day, like.
Yeah, we are. We're not as close as we were in high school, but yeah, we're still friends.
Yeah. That's so cool. Oh, I love that. I feel like Sailor Moon brings that. I've had that conversation too. Like, are you a Sailor Moon fan? Or people have come up to me like, so I used to wear on certain days, like we had like Wacky Tacky Day, and I had a Sailor Moon book bag that would wear. Yes. It was like really bright and colorful, and it was clearly like a kid's book bag. So like it was the only day I felt like it doesn't, but it was the only way I felt. It was the only day I felt comfortable wearing it. And at least in high school. Yeah. And and people come up like, "Are you a Sailor Moon fan?" I'd be like, "Yeah." Are you a Sailor Moon fan? I did have Sailor Moon on my binder though every day.
Right. Oh man, it was so interesting too, because like, well, when I was in high school in 99 to 2003, it was harder to find like Sailor Moon stuff. So like you would have like they had it at like Sam Goody and Suncoast, and you had to spend all this money. I spent so much money. Like I used to buy the old Sailor Moon single floppy issues instead of the tankobon issues. Like.
What?
Like
yeah.
So, and it was also interesting to go from like, so growing up, my cousins and I, we all watched like anime. We watched like Ronin Warriors, we watched Sailor Moon together, we watched Toonami together, and then kind of into late middle school and high school, I ran into people who were like, those are cartoons, those aren't cool. I was like, wait, what? According to whomst?
Right?
Like, what? Who said that? Where they say that at? So, it's nice to see, like, anime getting its proper respect now.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I think it kind of happened for me that way, too, where it's like, oh, this is this thing I'm really into. And then later on, there was someone who was like, oh, that's not cool. That's not a thing. It was like two people, but
right. I mean, honestly, that's all it takes is like two people to really clown you and like play your life, and you're like, wait, am I wrong?
Right. Like, I was like, but this is fun though. I like this though.
Right.
And I'm like, you tripping? This is fine.
Like, yeah. And you know, it's like in high school, your identity is so fragile at that time because you're just starting to like be a real individual, learn who you are, like you feel like you're about to become like an adult who's supposed to know things, but you don't know that like adults don't know things. So it takes so little to just shake up your whole worldview in good and bad ways. So
right,
you know, we just gotta look back at our younger selves and be like, it's okay, boo, I'm holding on to the dream for us now. Like
yeah, I mean, I'm happy that it didn't lead either of us, you know, away from it.
I know, me too.
Because we're here now, yeah.
Yes. I did have some friends, my theater friends in high school. They were totally not into anime at all. Like now they still, I'm like, I'm in a Star Wars anthology, and they're like, oh, what is that? Ooh. But they were so supportive. Like we like I would get all dressed up to go to the like local anime convention, to go to Otakon in Baltimore, and they'd be like, we don't know what you're doing. We don't know what that's all about, but good for you. We support you. Right. You need a ride, we'll drop you off. Like, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, those are the kind of friends you need in your life. Yeah, that's me in this Sailor Moon podcast, because some of my friends are not into anime. They're like, I don't know what this is, but I'll share it on my Instagram. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, see, that's good. That's friendship right there. Those are good friends.
Right?
Oh, man.
Like, I recognize some of these things. Yeah.
Right. It's like, that looks like my grandmother calls everything Sailor Moon, like every single anime. She's like, is that Sailor Moon thing? I'm like, no, it's Cardcaptor Sakura. What about that Sailor Moon thing? I'm like, no, that's Dragon Ball Z. What about that Sailor Moon stuff? No, but I'm like, you know what, Grandma, that's okay. It's like Sailor Moon or Pokemon. That's what it is.
You know, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad with Sailor Moon being the default. Right. It's better than like.
Right. Put some respect on that name.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, my mom, to this day, she's like, are you still into Sailor Moon? I'm like, yeah.
Like, yep. Hardcore.
20 years later, I still want something Sailor Moon related for Christmas. Yes.
Always. Always
yes,
and
always.
Forever.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite Senshi?
Yeah, so I'm basic, so Sailor Moon was my favorite.
That's cool. I'm basic too. She's my favorite also. I get it.
But I loved how I love the growth that she shows over the entire series. And I love that she's this like, she's kind of lazy and she eats all the time and she has all these like stereotypical faults, but at the end of the day, she always comes through for her friends. She's like, it's like, for all of the negative stuff that people can say about her, at the end, she's reliable. She's not the smartest, but she's clever. Like, she always figures out a way to get out of these situations that, like, yeah, she's just great. She's just wonderful. I just love her. And I'm like, you're such like a precious little being. Like, you were a child. You were 14. What were you going through? So, yeah. And also, like, she just had the coolest costumes next to Sailor Saturn.
Sailor Saturn was also awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. Like, she wasn't perfect, but she did her best. And her best was also really good.
Yes. Yes.
Like, because I think it's really important to show people who are afraid, but also still rise to the occasion.
Yes, it is. And especially because, you know, she honestly had so much to be afraid of.
Yeah, and at 14, like you said.
Right, literal monsters. You're in middle school and you're fighting, like, to save the world. Like, yes, that is plenty to be afraid of.
Right.
But it's nice to see someone constantly and repeatedly confront their fear and, like, feel, like, be lazy and want to just sleep, but be like, okay, I still have to get up and get the job done. Like, to see somebody overcome bad habits and just do so much good and accomplish so much. It's nice to see like that in a show and to have that role model to look up to. Yeah.
And also like embrace like those, I don't know, I want to say embrace those things about yourself, but like it's okay to want to like sleep sometime. Like maybe you are tired.
Right. Rest is good.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I like that we got to see all of those things in Sailor Moon and Usagi, Serena.
Yeah. I also like that she was really good at making friends and making other people feel loved and welcomed. And I know I I feel like I always struggle to make like new friends because I'm shy in new groups of people. So it was also something aspirational to see this person who like everyone loved, and even if like she argued with her friends, at the end of the day, like everybody just would rally around her, and she just like she was everyone's special person, and that's just so sweet.
Yeah, she literally was like the glue who held everyone together in a way.
She was.
Yeah, and she's just kind, and I think the other thing, like one thing that comes up on this podcast a lot is like her being like this non-traditional leader, but her actually having like some leadership skills and like being able to like, you know, bring people together and, you know,
right.
be that glue for others, and like being able to like not be humble enough to be like, all right, you're actually stronger in that, like you take care of that.
Right.
I'll be delegate. Here.
I will delegate. I will be over here cheering you on. And it's like, you need me. Okay, you need me to come in and close. All right, I'm gonna come in and close.
Right. Like, I'll be the closer.
Right. Because if nothing else, Sailor Moon is a closer.
Yes. I love that.
Oh man, she's the best. We did what did we do? We did a couple years ago we did like a final or a March Madness competition with like different fictional characters, and my input was Eternal Sailor Moon. And so each week we would put them up for a vote on Twitter and see who got eliminated. And I think I made it to like the final 4. I still think she should have taken the whole thing, but I at least like I was going up against like Shuri and Storm and stuff. And I'm like, I wasn't gonna win, but still. And just for the record, I know everybody who's listening to this knows, but anybody who is like coming to this new to Sailor Moon is not white. She is not a white woman. She is a Japanese woman. Thank you very much. Don't let the blonde hair and blue eyes fool you.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like she should have won too.
Right?
Definitely. This was for Black Nerd Problems, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was.
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna go back and put a vote in, even though it probably won't count.
Right. It'll count in our hearts. Count in our hearts.
That's all that matters. But you also are doing something super cool. You wrote a story for the Star Wars anthology that I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
From a certain point of view, The Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
Yes, got it right.
It's a mouthful, so it's not an easy title to say. So.
Yeah. I felt proud of myself. But yeah, what can you say about your story, and how did it feel to kind of be a part of this anthology?
So what I can say, so the story is called Faith in an Old Friend, and it's from the point of view of the droid L337. Folks from Star Wars folks will know her from the movie Solo. She was Lando Calrissian's co-pilot droid and everything, and she ultimately got shot up, and they uploaded her into the central computer of the Millennium Falcon. So she's in this computer with 2 other droid brains. So the story Faith in an Old Friend is kind of from the point of view of L3 and the 2 other droid brains who control the Millennium Falcon, ED4 and V5T. So it's a little weird. But yeah, it's just it's what's going on inside the Falcon during the Empire Strikes Back movie. So I can't give away any plot points, but it was a good time, and I can't believe they let me write it because I was just I'd said it on a whim, like, hey, I want to write L3 / the Millennium Falcon. And they were like, okay, sure, that's a great idea. And it's like, wait, what? It was, I'm still shocked that it's a real thing. I haven't gotten my copy of the book yet. And I think for me, part of it won't feel real until I get my copy of the book. Like they've put out an excerpt of the story, and they've like tweeted my name out on like the social media and stuff, the official like Star Wars accounts, and I'm doing an event, and I'm still like, I don't know if this is real, like I don't know if this is legit, like I might not be in the book for real. So we'll see. When I get my hard copy, then maybe it'll really like sink in that this is an actual thing that's happening. I know when my agent was like, hey, they want to know if you want to write a Star Wars story. I don't know if I've ever replied to one of her emails as fast as I replied to that one and was like, yes, absolutely, let's do it.
Like, I don't need any details.
Right. And then, but of course, because my agent, Allie Levick, she's amazing. She already had all the details. And she was like, here's what you got to do. And I was like, okay, great. Yes. Tell them yes. And then I think like 15 minutes later, I was like, hey, can you ask them if I can do L3/the Millennium Falcon? And, and so she was like, yeah, they said that's a great idea. And I was like, great. And then they were like, it eventually hit me that it's like, Brittany, do you know that you're about to write an entire short story about a bunch of characters that can't actually do anything because they exist inside of computer? I was like, oh, yeah.
About that.
Right. Cool. But it ended up working out. And my our editors, Tom and Elizabeth, were really great. Elizabeth helped talk me through like story points. So I'm really proud of the final product. There's an excerpt up on StarWars.com if you want to read it. Definitely buy the book. If you can't buy the book, request it from your local library.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a good time. And there's so many amazing writers in it. There are 39 other writers and stories about everyone from like the Wampa to some Ugnaughts to people from the Empire, some rebels, the dude carrying a box who walks in between Han and Leia while they're arguing, like the random dude on Cloud City who's carrying something that looks like an ice cream machine. Like everybody gets a story in this. It's great. It's fantastic.
It sounds great. I'm really excited about it. And yeah, like I said, there's so many different writers, so many different stories, 40 short stories by 40 different authors. Like, it's such a cool idea. I'm really, really, really excited about it. And I will be getting a copy one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since you are so knowledgeable of all things Star Wars, I wanted to...
Right. Here we go. Putting me on the spot.
I was hoping we could match Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Yoda, and any other Star Wars characters you want.
Right.
Or maybe L337.
Yeah.
With Senshi.
Yes. Okay. So obviously, Yoda has to be Sailor Pluto. Like obviously, that's like
interesting. Yeah, I see it. I see it. I was thinking Mars for some reason. Go ahead.
Oh, I could. Well, Yoda doesn't have like that fiery Mars energy. Yoda's kind of like, when we meet him in the original trilogy, he's being really cryptic. He's way older than everybody else. He's like 900 and something years old.
True.
Like when Luke comes back in Return of the Jedi to ask him a bunch of questions, Yoda's like, stop talking to me, I'm about to die, and then he just dies and fades away. Kind of like Sailor Pluto is like, I'm gonna hold this door open and then I'm gonna die, so peace out, y'all, I'm out.
Right. Also, not to be like reductive, but green hair.
Yep.
Yoda's green.
Yep.
Green.
There you go.
Yeah. No, that makes all the sense. Yep. Like the crypticness, the green hair, the like dying randomly when you really need them.
It's like, I need you. I'm sorry. I'm dead. I'm done. Sorry, super dead.
Right. See you later.
Right.
And randomly coming back.
Right. I remember they were like, wait, what? What are you doing here?
Right.
In this suit. Like, this suit is fly, but when did you get here? When did you get this suit, girl? She was like, oh, I just live here now. It's like,
right.
I've
been here.
Okay, cool. Oh, Sailor Moon gets so weird, and I love it so much.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mars would be Princess Leia.
That makes sense.
She has the skills, and, like, Mars always had, she has, like, the chops to be a leader. maybe not the leader of this like of the Senshi, but she has the chops to be a leader. That's why like everybody at her all girl school is like, oh my god, we love you, like you're the best, like you need to be president of everything. So that also, I feel like that aligns really well with Leia. And yeah, and men, it feels like sometimes men underestimate her, or maybe the movie just underestimates her, and she should be given more to do because she's awesome.
True.
And she's great with a blaster, which yeah, Mars is the sniper.
Fire attack. Yeah, right.
So there you go.
Love it.
Oh goodness, Luke, huh?
Yeah.
I feel like Luke would possibly be Sailor Moon, but like at the same time, no, because he doesn't have like, he's not on her level. I'm sorry, Luke, but you're not on her level. Like maybe Rey could be Sailor Moon, but I don't know if Luke could be. Maybe
like a first episode Sailor Moon.
Right, maybe.
Maybe Chibi Moon.
Maybe I can see that.
Moon?
I can see
that would make sense with the whole Yoda thing too.
Yeah.
Pluto.
Yep. I could see that. Yeah. Yep. Either that or Sailor Venus from that episode where she was pretending to be Sailor Moon. So it's like, you almost there, boo. You almost there.
Oh, that's so good.
And Luke,
or he could be Tuxedo Mask.
He could be, but he actually does stuff. I would
might
put Han as Tuxedo Mask, because when Han gets captured and frozen in carbonite and then gets everybody else captured when they try to rescue him from being frozen in carbonite, I think Han is Tuxedo Mask.
Classic Tuxedo Mask, you're right. Yeah. I was going to give him Jupiter, but you're right. He did get caught that one time.
Yep, he did. And it was pretty substantial. It was pretty bad.
Yeah. That was pretty awful.
I don't know. Who would I give Jupiter to? You know what? I might. I don't know, because I want to do Lando, and I don't know who.
Oh, that would be fun. But yeah, I don't know if that Lando might be a Venus, actually.
Right, I think so. Yeah, Lando's Venus. Yep. Not as much of a closer as Venus, but
yeah.
Right.
He tries.
He does. He does. Or maybe Lando would be like one of the villains who like flips at the end. Like maybe one of the Amazon trio. Right. Like, because they flip to the good side at the end, but then like nobody remembers them. So nobody remembers that they turned good at the end. They're just like, oh, we don't like those guys. And like nobody remembers that Lando, like people forget to acknowledge that Lando blew up the second Death Star. They're like, oh, he betrayed them. We hate him. It's like, no, but he was good. He did that one thing. Right. And they're like, no. So like, I'll give Lando the oh god. You know what? Lando can be all three. Lando is, I think he's, y'all don't, Star Wars fans don't, like, if I'm wrong, don't come after me on Twitter, y'all, but I'm pretty sure that it's confirmed that Lando is pansexual, so Lando can be all three of the Amazon trio.
You know,
Hawkeye, Tiger's Eye, Fisheye. Because he's like, I will, you know what? I'm equal opportunity. People, that makes sense, aliens, droids, I got you. So there you go.
You know, I'm not mad at it. It makes sense. It makes too much sense, honestly.
Everybody's going to listen to this and be like, oh my God, what is she talking about? I know my facts. It's facts. No, it's going to be on the Wikipedia, watch.
It's canon now, honestly.
Right? Canon.
It's just,
somebody tell Daniel Jose Older to make it canon.
Yes. I will tweet him now.
Yes.
By the way.
Right. You got to make this canon, please. Thank you.
Lando is now all of the Amazon trio from Sailor Moon.
Right. All three.
All three. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was like, what, Hawkeye only liked older women, or was it Tiger's Eye? One of them only liked older women. The other one only liked younger women, and then Fisheye only liked attractive men. So
I think you're right.
I think it was Hawkeye liked older women, Tiger's Eye liked younger women or young women, and then I know for a fact Fisheye liked attractive men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh. That's good. I did some thinking with that one. I made some points.
I'm proud of you. People always do way better at this than like, I'm like, wow, you guys really like take this seriously. This is awesome.
It is serious business. It's serious. Fandom is serious business.
Yes. And how about, since you know your stories on L337?
I feel like L337 is a combination of Luna and Artemis.
Makes sense.
Because it's like, I feel like Artemis has a bit of snark that Luna doesn't quite have. Mm-hmm. But Luna has this like care and earnestness that Artemis maybe doesn't all the way have. I don't know. It's just like, I feel like it's both that L3 knows better than anybody else. She knows more than anybody else. She's all about droid liberation. And yeah, I think those two together. Maybe, I don't know. Wait, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. Maybe, Neptune, Sailor Neptune.
Ooh.
That's what I'm gonna go for.
Yeah, she does have a mixture of snark and care.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really balanced, but like also really cool at the same time.
Yes. Yep. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And like, people try to fluster her, and she's like, "Oh, okay. You think you're gonna one up me? Nope. I got something for you." So
right.
Yeah.
Flips hair.
Yep. But also willing to dive on a bomb, take a bullet.
True.
Like, just YOLO her way into an early death. Like, why not?
So in that well, no, because Lando is totally not a Sailor Uranus.
No, so, definitely Venus.
Yeah. Definitely Venus.
Definitely Venus.
Or all the Amazon trio.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, yeah. I was trying to like, oh, is there a connection there? But yeah.
No.
Yeah. But L337 was one of my favorite characters in Solo, so I'm really, really excited.
She's one of my favorites too. She's so good. She's such a good character.
She is. And I love Phoebe Waller-Bridge too, who voiced her. So
yeah. Well, the fantastic thing that they did on that movie is that they she was actually on set in like a partial like a green bodysuit, and then they put like parts of the L3 droid body on her. So a lot of the scenes, the actors are really like performing off of what she's giving them, and they let her improv a lot. So I think that definitely added to L3's appeal and voice and snark and just greatness. Like, it's just so, and I tried to like hear her voice as I was writing the story. Mm-hmm. Hopefully folks think that I captured her voice well. I like to think that I did, but you know, I like to hype myself up, so
you probably did.
Right.
Oh, that is really cool. Thank you for indulging me.
Of course, that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Lando is all three of the Amazon trio. Oh, it's so true. It's so true.
It really is. Just
Thanks.
Like, yeah. Part of me wants to match Darth Vader with a villain, but I feel like anyone could fit. Like, he's either a Queen Beryl or a Galaxia. Like, it works either way.
He's like, he's Wicked Lady, cause like just really emotional, just like working off of like this like jealousy and just
going back and forth, and who am I? Identity, being weird with a family member. Like, what's going on with you? Like, why are you like this? Good point.
It.
Yeah, and related to the main. Yeah, no, that works. Wow, you're really good at this.
I have a lot of facts and story stuff rolling around in my brain. So,
well, if you ever wondered what is this house,
right?
Yeah, what is this good for? It's good for this podcast specifically.
Right. We've all been in the house for so long. What more can I do but let this stuff just roll around.
Yeah. It's working. Um, on another note, I saw that you are a Shakespeare nerd.
Yes.
What's your
Absolutely.
favorite Shakespeare story?
I love Richard III.
Okay, I don't know
Right.
that one.
So I'm about to get real nerdy on y'all. Sorry. It's
Do
one of
it.
the history plays.
Ooh.
It's the kind of completion of the Henry VI tetralogy. So you have Henry VI parts 1, 2, and 3, and then into Richard III. And it's about King of England who is just a evil, murderous bastard. He's the character is fantastic, but the person is horrible. And like in his opening monologue, he comes out and he's like, yeah, so the war we were fighting is over. My older brother is king now, and he's bringing peace, and everybody's happy, but I'm not, because everybody thinks I'm ugly. So because they think that I'm ugly, I'm just gonna be evil to everybody. So cool, we cool on that? Cool, okay, let's go. And then he like kills his brothers, he kills his nephews. There's a scene where like he meets up with the old king, who is it, King Henry VI, who he meets up with Henry VI's widow, and Richard is the one who killed Henry VI. And he seduces her over the body of her father-in-law, who he also murdered. And like, right. So it's like this thing is incredible. Like it's the audacity of this man. Right. And then it's like there's this whole like comedy scene that happens before these two assassins murder somebody. And like one is like, oh, I don't want to kill him while he's sleeping. And he's like, why not? Let's just do it. And he's like, but he's sleeping. Like, that's not right. And he's like, oh shit, now I don't want to kill him while he's sleeping. And all this other, like, it's great. And I saw an amazing production of it that was set in like a slaughterhouse. Oh man, and
that's creepy, but that's right. So cool.
Oh man, and like I was on the edge of my seat the entire play, even though I knew exactly what was going to happen. So
yeah,
Richard III lives rent free in my head.
That's awesome. So wait, is this based on? Because I know there's an actual Richard III.
Yeah.
So is this like his like a depiction of his actual life?
It is. It's kind of propaganda.
Okay.
It makes him worse than he actually was.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just because when Shakespeare wrote it, it was when Queen Elizabeth was on the throne.
Okay.
And the guy who comes in at the end of the play and kills Richard III is Queen Elizabeth's grandfather. So it's like, oh well, if you're gonna write something for the Queen,
right,
then you want to make her family right, make her family look good and make the opposition look extra bad.
Right, so, that makes sense.
Yeah,
man.
And like Shakespeare, when he was writing and performing, because he was a writer and an actor, he spent his entire career actually pretty close to the throne. Like, early career, his acting company was kind of sponsored by the Lord Chamberlain, who's the guy who was in charge of all of the entertainments at court. And then after Queen Elizabeth died and King James I took over the throne, King James sponsored their company, so they became the King's Men. And yeah, so they constantly were performing at court, doing performances for dignitaries and stuff. And so he had to write a lot of propaganda plays.
Yeah. Wow. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I am learning more than I did in my English class.
Right. I told you I'm a huge Shakespeare nerd. Yeah, look, it's all super. It's such an interesting thing, and especially like as an actor, to kind of see where they call it early modern theater, but it's just like where you can trace the American theater tradition and acting tradition back to Shakespeare. So to see where like so many things developed and how politics affect art always.
Always. Oh, that's so cool. So I feel like I didn't know that he wrote about like historical figures, because I've always been I had my Tudor family phase,
right?
Yes. As we all do,
right? Didn't we all?
And with King Henry VIII, and one of my like weird fun facts, but not so fun facts about myself, is Anne Boleyn was beheaded on my birthday.
Oh wow! Ooh,
yeah, I know. I'm just like, oh cool, but oh grim,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, sad.
But yeah, so now I'm like, I want to go and read this because that's like anything. You just said King Henry VI, and I was like, oh, my ears perked up.
He did do I feel like it's unfinished, but they attribute a play called, or King Henry VIII, or All Is True is attributed to Shakespeare. So it's about like, I think it's about like right when Anne Boleyn is about to like slip on in there. You just had to be really careful. It was against the law to portray a living ruler or a living king or queen on stage. There was one acting company at the time who was performing a play, and they had King James in the play, and the government didn't like it, so they arrested all the actors. They lost their royal dispensation, so they had to change their name, and they were suddenly like kind of outlaws.
Oh my god!
Because they like put this image. They had an actor play King James, so you had to like sneak around it and set stuff like way back in the ancient times to make real social commentary. So
right. Oh. Well, that is all fascinating.
Right. Y'all ain't think y'all was going to school today, did you? Right. I'm sorry.
No, but you explained it in such an interesting way, so I feel like it's like, yeah, now I want to go read this whole story.
It's so yeah, and we know so little about Shakespeare. Yeah, and his wife Anne Hathaway, and yeah, it's
yeah. I was gonna ask you about that too, because there was like a show that came out about Shakespeare, and like I've always heard like conflicting things about him, but
yeah, there's so little record. There's the plays, which weren't actually published until well after he had died. There's not even like you can pick up like actor copies of the plays, because what these companies would do is each actor would get pages with only their lines on it, and like the first 3 words that came before their lines, and it was so other companies couldn't steal your plays, because it's like, all right, we're doing Hamlet today, and then tomorrow, like over at the Rose, the Lord Hunsdon's Men is suddenly doing like Whomnit, which is like these knockoffs, like how they do those like Disney knockoff cartoons where it's like, wait, is this The Princess and the Frog? It's like, no, it's the Frog Princess. She's in Mississippi.
Completely different.
Right? She's in Mississippi, and there's a talking snake. And it's like, wait a minute, what? So, yeah, but they have like a couple, there's like one court document that he was a witness on some dispute. There's like when he got married, they can't even be sure about when he was born because they only have his baptismal date written down. Wow. So yeah, it's just, there's so little we know. We know in his will he left the second best bed to his wife, which is like either a really interesting inside joke or so shady.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, like I died here, you get our second best bed.
Right. What the first best go to?
Right. I'm like, what happened to the first best bed? Like, bruh. Right. So
oh my god.
It's so a lot of it is made up. Like, people just kind of make stuff up, and and yeah, there's all kinds of assumptions about like his sexuality and what relationships he had with other people other than his wife. Yeah, but I mean, who knows? We can't ask him.
Right. So. Yeah. Huh. Well, I feel better about myself and my knowledge of Shakespeare now, so thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. If anybody has any more questions, feel free to @me on the Twitter.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And so you're also working on your own writings.
Yes. Speaking of Shakespeare.
Right, yeah.
Right.
It's a young adult historical fantasy. That's self-same metal.
Yes.
So what's that about? What can you say?
The title is actually a snippet of a quote from King Lear by William Shakespeare. But
I know that one.
Right? The book itself is about this 16-year-old girl who lives in London in 1605. And she has the magical ability to control metal and create iron objects from nothing. And she works with Shakespeare's acting company to do their fights and kind of handle their weapons. And her twin brother is an apprentice actor with the company. Everything's good. Everybody's happy. Except the Fae are starting to run amok and just indiscriminately murder people in London. So now Joan gets pulled into this fight for the mortals of London, and she has to defeat this powerful Fae entity before he kills her first.
Gee, well, that also sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so I mean, one thing I wanted to do is with this book in particular is to write something that has people of color in London in 1605, because we were there, like Black and brown people were there as much as folks want to pretend that they weren't. So This is like my, haha, you thought we weren't there, but yes, we were. See, I'm going to put it in my book and I'm going to source stuff. Bam.
Love it. Like, yeah, that's not the fantasy part of this
right.
novel.
No, right. And it's like, when people are like, well, you can't do, I'm like, there's fairies. Can you prove to me that fairies exist? No,
right.
You can't. All right, we're good.
They will zero in on like the race or like people or skin color, and it's like, did you just skip like all of the like fairies and elves? And,
right.
Like,
they do that with Star Wars, and I'm like, it's space. It's made up. There are literal aliens. Like we can do it. Like there can be anything. We contain, like this universe contains multitudes. There can be people of color. Like you can have Black women with lines in Star Wars. Like that's not. It's not gonna break the. It's not going to break the continuity.
Right. It makes no sense because, like, if anywhere, they're going to be varied skin colors.
Oh, man.
Should it not be space? Like, you have green people.
Right. You have green people and brown. Blue people. Right.
You have blue people. Yeah. Like, there are talking and walking robots. Like,
right.
We can't. No, not
right. We can have Chewbacca, but we can't have a lady. We can't have a Black lady with like 4C hair. Like we can't get that.
No. Impossible.
Right. We can't get no micro braids in Star Wars.
Right.
Watch. Okay, just wait. Lord, watch them never give me anything again. They were like, micro braid. I'm sorry, you can't do that. And I was like, okay.
Did you not read your contract?
Right. I'm like, okay, no.
Specifically, cannot mention any Black hairstyles.
It's like, sorry. It's like but the hard part is trying to like. One difficult thing about writing in like 1605 is trying to describe like Black hairstyles without having like the names of them. And like this is also the earliest developments of race as like a way to separate people. So it's like, if you can't say like she was Black, like how do I make it known that like she was Black?
Right.
If you can't say like this person, like you just have to figure out other ways to describe people, and it's sadly still the default for a lot of people. If you don't explicitly describe a character as having brown skin, or actually brown skin, because you could be like brown hair, brown eyes, it was curly, and they'll be like she's white, and it's like no, she's not.
And even sometimes when you do explicitly
right
say,
man. Yeah. So it was an interesting challenge, but what is creation without a challenge?
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's going great.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. You already got one sale.
Thank you. I'm gonna tell my agent. I'm like, Allie, we sold the book to one person. It's great.
Right. I'll send my $20 in.
Right. No, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. So
yeah, no, it's awesome. And then you do like so many things, but and it's awesome. You're also an actress.
Yes.
What's been your favorite role so far, and what would be your dream role?
Oh goodness, my favorite role so far. So I did this children's show.
Ooh.
And it was based on a children's book written by Bob Marley's daughter, Cedella Marley. And it was based on the song Three Little Birds. So the show was called Bob Marley's Three Little Birds, and I played this little girl named Nancy, who was the main character's best friend. And she had a pet spider named Baby Ziggy. And I had so much fun just playing this like hyperactive little girl with poor impulse control. It was it was amazing. And I actually got to do the show. The show originated at a theater just outside of DC, and then a year later we got to take it off Broadway in New York and do the whole thing again. So it was amazing. It was fun. I got nominated for like a local theater award for it. I don't remember having so much fun doing that's like the most fun I've ever had doing a role. And the cast was really great. The cast was really strong. Everybody was easy to work with. So that was my favorite. My dream role. Oh man. I have two from Shakespeare. One is Richard III, of course, because I love that play.
Right. You would play Richard III?
Yes, I would love to be Richard III.
That would be awesome. Okay.
And I would love to play Goneril from King Lear. She's the oldest daughter. She's kind of evil, but at one point, her sister and a servant are talking, and she's like, "Oh, is my brother-in-law in the field, or are my brother-in-law soldiers in the field?" And the servant is like, "Yes, they are." And she's like, "Oh, is my brother-in-law with them?" He's like, "No, actually, your sister is the better soldier." And so he's talking about Goneril, and I'm like, "Yes, I want to be her. I want to do that."
That does sound awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's like wielding swords and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. Also, fun fact. Bob Marley's granddaughter, Zuri Marley, is a Sailor Moon fan.
Hey!
Yeah. It's one of us.
Yes. One of us. One of us.
Yes. I love it. And because you do amazing things, I just have to say that you were also Nala in Hong Kong Disney. I thought that was just really cool.
Yes, that was... So that was my first job out of college. It was my first time, like going away from home by myself. So I just kind of, I had to move to China for a year. And yeah, so we, if anybody's been to the Disney World, they do a show there called the Festival of the Lion King. It was basically that show, but more telling the full story of the Lion King. So we did the show. The show ran 4 times a day, 7 days a week. So we did like 10 performances, minimum a week, which was a lot, but you had to be ready. You had to be ready to go. And while I was there, they also did a High School Musical show that I was in. Excuse me. That was a lot of fun. So I got to be Nala some of the time I got to be a wildcat and just hang out in the hot summer sun of Hong Kong. But it was I did a lot of growing on that job.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong playing Nala, a wildcat, right?
And it was also I didn't get to go to any Disney theme parks until that year.
Oh, wow.
So like I went to Disneyland first when I was visiting my cousin in California, and then I did spring break at Disney World, and then I was like, you know what? I want to work at a Disney park. And they were like, how about China? And I was like, there's a park in China? Sure. So
what?
And that was it.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I made a lot of really amazing friends. And it was extremely challenging, but I proved a lot to myself too by doing it. I'm from a family that stays close to home a lot, so it was, after that I feel like I could go anywhere. It's like I moved to China by myself, knowing no one, not knowing the language, and I made it there. I flourished. I made it back. So after that, moving anywhere else seems easy.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
And tell me about It's a Flop.
Oh, It's a Flop. It's a Flop. So It's a Flop is a stream that I do weekly. It's a live stream that I do for Black Nerd Problems on the Black Nerd Problems Twitch. And basically every week we look at a movie that flopped. So some movie that, like, no matter how much we may love it, they just either barely recouped their budget or didn't recoup their budget. So this week we talked about Vampire in Brooklyn, the wonderful Eddie Murphy, Angela Bassett vehicle that could have been so much better. We deserved the Eddie Murphy, Angela Bassett vampire erotic thriller, but we didn't get that, and that's sad.
It is sad.
We've also talked about Showgirls. We've talked about Gremlins 2, the new batch. We've talked about Treasure Planet.
Saw the Treasure Planet one.
Yeah. Oh. We did Quest for Camelot. So it's just, every week it's a good time. I love that I have some viewers who come every week, and we have good conversation in the comments, and we just have a lot of laughs, and there's always so much interesting stuff, and occasionally some horrifying facts that I share, but it's a good time.
It sounds like a good time, but also a little scary.
Right. Don't be scared. It's fine. Nobody,
right.
no, there's nothing that's going to send you to therapy. Just like weird facts. Like the fact that at the Atlantis premiere, they rented an entire aquarium worth of tropical fish just to be outside. And maybe that's why the movie flopped. So
probably. It was not a good idea.
Right. It's like, that's what you want to spend your money on? Right. Okay. Maybe.
Like, we spent half our budget on this.
Right. It's like, oh, child. It's like, that's why.
You needed someone to tell you that you do not have aquarium money.
Right. No, you don't. And it's like they rented them from like a legit professional aquarium. And it's like, you got to keep all these fish safe. You just got them outside, like.
Gotta hire the aquarium guy to look after them.
People gonna be tapping on the glass. They got all the flash bulbs going. What's gonna happen when you send back like some of the fish that ain't made it? Like, what, you doing too much?
Yeah, they probably insured.
Right.
Oh gosh,
doing too much.
Way too much.
Right.
Way too much.
All for Atlantis, which is really good, but
Yeah. And then the last thing, as you may remember, just like Sailor Moon had the Sailor Moon Says phrase at the end of every episode, what would your phrase be? Sailor Brittany says.
Sailor Brittany says, live your dreams, even if you have 50 of them.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a shining example. So
I always wanted to, like, everybody's like, well, if you followed your dream, like, if you did your dream career from when you were a kid, what would you be doing now? And I'm like, I wanted to be Barbie, and Barbie did everything. So here we are.
There you go.
Here we are.
True.
Right now, I just got to get my figure skating, my gymnastics, and become
a pilot.
A pilot and an astronaut. And I'll be, like, well on my way.
Yeah, and a horseback rider.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that horse. I can ballroom dance, so I at least got that.
There you go. There you go. I did see you do tarot card reading too.
I do.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't see. There's not a Barbie for that, but there should be.
No, there should. Maybe there will be.
Probably will.
We got it. Maybe she'll be me. Popular. Maybe she will be me. She'll come with a MacBook, a stack of tarot cards,
yes,
like a webcam.
I'm here for this.
A complete works of William Shakespeare. Like, there we go. Then that's me.
Sounds good. And a Sailor Moon wand, just for fun.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And what is next for you, and where do you want people to find you?
So up next for me, the anthology, From a Certain Point of View, The Empire Strikes Back, comes out on November 10th. You can buy it wherever books are sold. Please, preference goes to your local indie bookstore. And if you want the book but can't buy the book, then definitely request it from your library. You can find a lot of my writing over on blacknerdproblems.com. You can catch me doing It's a Flop every Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock Eastern over on the Black Nerd Problems Twitch. And me personally, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is Brittany Acts, BrittanyActs. Yeah, so there you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.